All right, so this next idea might be one of the most important things that I could ever teach in any kind of a music theory class, and that is the function and definition of a dominant chord. So I'm going to give you two definitions. I'm going to explain them in two different ways, and then I want to show you how they function and what their purpose is in music and why they're so powerful. So dominant chords, just like dominant notes in a scale, are chords that are built on the fifth scale degree within the key. So going back to the key of C major, if I play a C major chord and then make my way up the scale, when I reach the 5 chord, the G chord, just like the G note, we call the dominant note, I'm calling this the dominant chord in the key of C. So one definition for a dominant chord is any chord that is the fifth chord in the key. In this case, it's G major. But there's another part of a dominant chord that makes it unique and special and really work really well. And in order to show you what that is, I have to show you what a seventh is on a chord. So let's build one. What I have here is just a G chord. And it's got the root, the third, and the fifth. No big deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to add one more part to the snowman. Maybe this is his hat. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But we have to kind of keep going. We're going to build another section to the snowman by going up another third. So if I play it on the keyboard, it looks like this. And here's the next one, right? So I'm just playing every other note on the keyboard, but now I'm playing 4 of them. And on the staff, it looks like this. And notice too, again, no flats or sharps. This note occurs naturally within the scale, within the key of C. So if this is called the root, and this is the third, and this is the fifth, you know where we're going, right? So the note on the top, the one that we just added, is called the seventh, because that's how far it is from the root of the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. It's just a note that's 7 notes higher than the root. And in this case, because it's in the key of C, that's the parent key that we're coming from, it happens to be an F natural. So another moment where I'd like you to take my word for it. The distance from G to F natural is the distance that we would call a minor seventh. Later on, we'll figure out why that's the case, and if we were in the key of G, we'd be playing that note, but we're not in the key of G, we're in the key of C major, which is all the white notes. So this note becomes that. We've lowered it down and turned it into what's called a minor seventh. So, without going down that particular rabbit hole too far, let's just take for granted that we have a G major triad, and we've added a minor seventh on the top. So definition number 2 of a dominant 7th chord is a major triad with an added minor 7th. And when you do that formula, it always gives you a dominant sounding chord. Now, in the key of C, that chord is really, really powerful because it takes us back home to the tonic, which is C. So I sometimes think of that 5 chord, the dominant chord, as like a taxi driver, or I guess now we're going to call them Uber drivers, whatever you're using to get home, the bus. It's going to take you home. So if I play in the key of C, when I play that chord, which is the 5 chord, it really makes us want to go here. It pulls you very strongly from here to there. You hear that at the end of a lot of pieces of music, right? You hear that 5-1. Because it pulls us so strongly to the tonic, to the 1. So the 5 chord is kind of a little taxi driver. It's an Uber. It's the thing that takes you home. And in a chord progression that takes you to a lot of different places harmonically, it's good to have a chord that can bring you back home again. And that's what the 5 chord does for us. So it's really, really important. And once I figured out how to use the 5 chord, music started to open up and really make sense to me. So I really want you to check this lesson out, watch it 3 or 4 times if you have to. Make sure you understand that the 5 chord, the dominant chord, is the one that will take you always back home again.